Hey everybody, welcome back to Chris Claremont X-Men Comic Club. Hope you're all reading along. John Coates, how are you doing?
I am doing very well, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. So those of you who've been reading along, we have lost an X-Man. We have seen demons so far. And now we're getting a whole new story here in issue number 97. My brother, my enemy.
Whew. Great cover too.
Yeah, I didn't really take a close look at that cover, but Havoc's costume design is just so simple and great.
It's so great.
Like with the circle in his chest, he doesn't even bother to try to put it into perspective. He just goes, it's always just head on.
Yeah.
I
kind
of love that.
That all black with that little weird silver, silver headgear. Like it just works.
Yeah, and it's almost kind of looks like Cerberus or something, but it's a great design.
Yeah, and this definitely will not be the last time we see the Summers brothers duking it out on a cover.
No, they have a complicated history.
Yeah, and you also, if you see the signature here, it's like Rick Buckler and Cockrum
on the cover.
Yeah. So whether Cockrum is inking, or if it's a Buckler layout or something.
Yeah, that's interesting because he's listed second. Yeah, that's well, it looks like well, it's really hard to tell. I'm guessing that Cockrum drew it because the faces kind of look like Cockrum. But as we know from somebody like Kevin Nolan or something like that, when like Kevin Nolan inks somebody else's work, it looks like a Kevin Nolan drawing in the face. So
yeah, he Nolan inks that.
Yeah. So cool cover. You got the plane on fire in the background, which it's gonna, will come up in this issue. There's talk about something else for a second. You remember, like in the 90s, I guess it happened like a lot, where you would get a comic and whatever was on the cover had nothing to do with what was inside. There was I mean, the reason I think for that is because the cover had to be solicited sometimes before the issue was even written. And back then it bothered me, but as time went on, it sort of became a charming thing to me,
that it didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, like I don't know, like so there was something that it became like almost just this trope or something of comics. It's just like I don't know. I kind of liked it later, but this is spot on. This one's spot on with the planes will come up.
That's interesting you say that about cover, because that's something that annoys me. Like where all of a sudden, like a cover, it's just like just a picture of one of the characters just standing there.
Well, that bothers me.
Like that bothers me. I also actually don't like when the interior artist doesn't draw the cover.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, like all the take all those variants and just rip that covers clean off of there. I don't need them. Like I want to know. I want the interior guy. It's his story. He's doing the art. He's doing the work. He should get to be on the cover.
Yeah, I don't know how many times like I would get a comic, especially like in the 90s and stuff, when usually the cover artist was the same as the interior artist, and I would get like, I don't know, like a Jim Lee cover, and then I would come home and I'd open it up and it was Bob Fredrickson drawing it, and half-assed and big chunky lines. Like, what is this? This is crap. I hated that. But no, this one nails it.
Yeah, this one's good. So let's pop into it.
Open.
Here we go. And this is the first issue where there's no plot assist. It is Claremont 100% right from the jump, doing everything. And page 1, crazy splash, and right away we get aliens.
Yes. So we went from demons to aliens in this Xavier fever dream where sort of everybody's sort of tangled in Storm's hair here. We get to see the whole team, and we get these aliens sort of coming to Earth.
Yeah, and I don't know that they get name dropped in this one yet, but this is the Shi'ar of that will return again and again and again in X-Men.
Yeah, they don't name drop it here. I kind of assumed that that's what this was, but I wasn't exactly sure.
Yeah.
Love these designs. Love this, like almost. So this is like it's like a half splash page because you do have some panels here at the bottom, but it's got the Kirby rhythm. It's got you open it with the title page, and then boom, you get a double page splash with something coming right at you. This is such a great composition.
Yeah, and these are just pure Cockrum designs here. Just these crazy spaceships and like these little ones that look like insects.
Yeah.
It's just like really cool stuff.
That one, the one in the foreground, and like they're all different too. He just sort of went for it, I feel like. Well, I mean, I guess there's the one that looks like telescopic that's coming towards us. There's another one in the background there. But like for the most part, yeah, they look a little different because even the two bug ones are kind of look like a different design almost.
Yeah, really unique kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah. Yep. And then the sun sort of up on top there shooting off a like solar storm. And the use of these sort of havoc looking circles here that I'm not sure what those are supposed to be, but I like them.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe there are other planets with rings or other energy things going on.
Maybe because something's blasting out of that one in the middle.
Interesting. Yeah. It's just like a sci-fi battleship hellscape.
Yeah, that's
going
really cool.
on. Yeah, and they let us know that Xavier has been having this dream, this vision for like a bunch of nights, and he's starting to think that he's going crazy. And this one ship down here now like zooms in, and he can almost see somebody in it, and it's like the image of whatever thing is behind this suit keeps getting clearer and clearer every time he has the dream.
Yeah, and I, for one, as a person, as the person on the show who has not read all of the X-Men run, though I know parts of the stories, you know, they're almost like fables at this point, you know. I don't know who that is, and I'm excited to see who that is.
Oh, well, I'm excited for you to find out. So all of our followers, keep it a secret if you put some comments in below this video. We don't want to give it away too soon. So now we get, and then here we go. And this design is like really cool because it's kind of, they almost copy this design when they years later when Masters of the Universe comes out, and in Castle Grayskull there's like a spaceship like kind of drawn in the, it's like cardboard or something, it's like included, it's like in the like background in the castle and stuff.
Oh, you know, that thing got destroyed so fast probably that wow. I don't really have. I know what you're talking about. It was like
Yeah,
it was like on a console, right?
yeah, or something like that. It's like an astronaut space suit or whatever, but like it looks a
Yeah.
lot like a Cockrum
Ooh.
drawing,
Well,
you know.
how much I love Masters of the Universe. I forgot about that. I'm gonna
Mhm,
have to
mhm.
take a look at that. But um, funny enough that you mentioned that suit because not, I mean, I guess not really, but like the second I saw that, I was blown away by how weird and just like original and cool that suit is. I mean, it's bug like
Yeah.
in its eyes, but you know, you see the face behind it, so it's just like an astronaut shield. But God, it's such a cool design.
Yeah, it feels very alien. It feels
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
alien and like kind of menacing, and you're just like, ooh, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then the professor wakes up and he's sweating. And we get to see this cool apparatus he's got, around his bed so he can get out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, now he's having coffee. Always a
Yep.
good sign in the morning there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, hanging out with Moira, and she's trying to, talk him through it.
Yep.
And
He's
then,
shaking. She gives him a hand with that there.
yeah. And now we jump to see a little B story, and we get what's been going on with Alex Summers and Lorna Dane, aka Havoc and Polaris,
Yep.
and they're all hanging out here in the desert. Now, a question that I had going back through this is like they're mentioning that they're like doctoral candidates, so they're like PhD students,
Right.
but I don't know that they ever mention like what university are they a part of, and or like what are they even studying out in the desert? Are
Yeah.
they geologists, or I was just like, are they geologists or ecologists?
He does later talk about when he has like a freak out, I think, or something at some point. Yeah, and talks, and he says, some geologists you are using your energy bolt to wreck the very rock formations that you're here to study.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Okay, see, that makes
Yep.
sense, because I'm like, well, you're in the desert. I don't know what you're
Yeah.
studying out here. And
Yeah, so
also
they're
like,
out here in the middle of nowhere together as
yeah,
college students studying, studying together, and then they sort of become more than that.
yeah, yeah. And it makes me wonder, like, also like what university are they at? Like, I would assume something out in the Southwest, or
Or they're just being
yeah,
sent to the Southwest to study it. Yeah.
yeah. I
I
guess that
really
could be.
like the screen tone shadow at the bottom there after she gets blasted. She answers the door and she
Yeah.
gets blasted, knows who
Yep.
this is. She knows who the person is.
Yeah. Which is,
That blast immediately made me say, wow, that looks like Cyclops.
oh, interesting. Let's find out if it
Maybe
is.
they're supposed to be, making us feel that way.
Yeah.
Looking around, let's just take a look in behind her here and see. It looks like they've got like, I don't know if they're sculptures or rock specimens or something behind
Yeah.
her.
It
She's
does
like
look like
getting,
more like rock
yeah, and they're like,
specimens. Yeah.
yeah, and they're on display on some sort of pedestal thing there. Okay.
Yeah. Also, this building is like, it's got like a crack in the wall there.
Yep.
The plaster, the wattle and daub or whatever it's got going
Yeah,
on.
it's like a Southwest Adobe kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can see like the beams coming through it there. No roof on it really. I mean, there's a roof, but like
Uh-huh.
no peaked roof or anything. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then he's walking across this, and the next, next page.
So in mine, it's probably not in yours where
Yeah.
how you read it. We get this great Big Jim ad with Kirby art.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. That's Jack Kirby art.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, oh, look at that, and Warpath.
Mm-hmm.
TM Warpath. Is that a first appearance? Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just great. I was like, whoa, that's Jack Kirby doing a toy ad. Awesome. So yeah, here we go. Now Havoc, he hears the here's that something happened and he's running back.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, in my page count here, in my telling,
Are you on page 10?
Did not have any extra pages, but pardon me for one moment, John. Allow me to pull this up. We do have an extra page here.
You do have extra stuff.
Yes, because I was just about to comment on this, how he's walking across this arched rock formation that, like, how the heck did that get formed so smoothly? It looks like a tree over, but I was like, oh, wow, you don't have this one here.
Ooh, that rock formation, that's like a callback to early issues of Elf Quest by Wendy Peeney. Right there.
And you were saying that you were wondering what they were studying. I bet that is why this was put in, because this is where it comes up, where he goes and blasts this thing, and he sort of he starts talking about Lorna, you know, and how he's in love with her, and he wants to just scream out, "I love Lorna Dane," and he like thinks to himself, I wonder if Scott and Jean feel as crazy good. I sure hope they do. I wonder if Scott himself allows himself to feel, period. He's built up so many walls between himself and those around him that anything that can anything break them down. Has he even forgiven me for being adopted when he wasn't? Growing up in a state orphanage can't have been fun. And you get this like picture of, I guess, their family, or maybe the family that adopted him.
Yeah, it must be Havoc's adopted.
Right. So,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that tells us that gives us a bit of their backstory together, and I guess ties it in where this issue didn't originally, and then answers your question of what school did they go to.
Yeah, there you go. So that, see, Claremont was reading my mind when he was going back through looking for like, oh, should I add anything to this reprint? Oh, yeah, better tell what they're studying.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's pop this back up.
So good. And of course, and you know, we got a new costume for Polaris all of a sudden, and Havoc's like, "What? A new costume?"
Yeah.
And then she's just like, "Boom!" The power of
Wow!
Polaris.
I love the coloring in yours way better than the one in mine. Even though mine
I saw
is
yours
green.
It's like yellow and green.
Yeah. But I like that. I mean, the yellow and green makes sense because it's Polaris, but the texture and everything of the line, the brushwork and stuff in that one's really cool.
Yeah. And she gives that she has the power of death.
Yes.
She's so powerful. So again, like female hero or villain showing up in, you know, Claremont book, and she's got a ton of power.
Yes. Now, she was established before this.
Yep. Yeah, because she came in the sort of that Neil Adams, even before that Steranko era of X-Men. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we see this leg, you know, with red armor pop in here.
Ooh, yeah. We're slow reveal on this guy. So now we jump to the airport, and the X-Men are here to say goodbye to the professor. He's apparently going on a vacation by himself.
He's a big boy.
And everyone's okay with that.
Yep. Big boy's going on vacation by himself.
Yeah. And we get Jean Grey has returned to the fold.
Yep.
Yeah. So she was only gone for, you know, a couple, two issues. Yeah.
So she's going to stick with us, huh?
Yep.
Okay. I thought that she was just it was just a moment where she's coming back to kind of say goodbye. But that's good, because now Storm's not the only female character, you know, in here.
Yeah. So like all of a sudden, because, you know, most superhero teams, if they got a female character, you're only getting one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not every single one, but like, you know, here, this is 1976. So, you know, usually it's like you can only get one. So now already he's like, okay, gonna get 2 on the team right
Yeah.
now, and now we're gonna have a badass lady fighting them too.
Yeah, there's no token anything in his stories, which is great.
Yeah, really great. And we get Nightcrawler messing with his little image inducer, and so he looks like Errol Flynn, which is sort of his idol.
Yeah.
Yeah, as like the swashbuckler.
Yeah.
And you also get a little mention of like Peter being like a little bit of a, I don't know if prude is the right word, but he's not used to like seeing legs, seeing like people wear skirts and stuff.
Yeah, but Nightcrawler gets a little pervy here. It's pretty funny. Look there, my friend. Are those not magnificent legs? Just looking at some random woman walking by.
Yeah,
they're having a bros moment, and Peter's not having it really.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like that's a great little characterization. Characterization.
Yeah, I love the illustration of these girls' faces.
He looks out a window here.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a great panel because you have the middle ground with them looking out the window, and then the background with them coming forward. You don't really see who that is behind Havoc yet, really. It's just somebody in a hat or something.
Yeah.
Or is it? No, it's I see. It's just I thought it was the other person that we're gonna get in, but it's not. It's just a random person.
Mm-hmm.
But the drawing of these 2 girls in the front, to kind of help frame them in a way, or push everything up to the top. That's just a beautiful drawing. It's so hard to capture like a profile, especially a profile when you're looking down a little bit like that. And I just think that the line work and the brushwork on those faces and that hair is it's an outstanding drawing. It stands out to me for some reason.
Yeah. It's a hard angle. It's got to be like to get just that little bit of like face and turned like that.
Yeah, there's something to it's just laying down just these angled lines in just the right way. Like Alex Toth could do it in his sleep. I don't know. It's a nuanced hand that can do that.
Yeah. And out on the runway here, we get Cyclops turning around and being like, and he doesn't call his brother Alex. He's like Havoc. Because, he's in costume.
Yeah. Because he's in costume,
code
right?
names. Yeah. Gotta use code names in costume.
That's right.
But Jean knows right away, like, ooh, something's wrong. It's a trap. And then Polaris, Zarak just takes her out.
Yeah.
Death warrant, you fool.
I don't know that I've ever seen this Polaris costume before.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I don't like it as much as I really like her original, where it's like all the greens, go with the green hair. Like I like that kind of a single color family kind of look.
I guess traditionally in Marvel, when a villain is secondary colors, so maybe they pull in the purple at that point when she's green is a secondary color too, but
it's
pull in the purple.
It's a very Ditko kind of costume. It's
very
Doctor Strange, Steve Ditko.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
Yeah. And then of course, Cyclops is going like, "No, are you crazy?"
Yeah. And look at this pilot chomping on a cigar.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, we better get out of here."
Love it.
Yeah, and so they sort of blow up some stuff, and then they're running away. And it's also, this will be interesting to note, this is sort of like the first of many times where Havoc and Polaris are going to be brainwashed.
Oh yeah,
like those poor kids. It's like
man.
that's their role in the book.
Oh no.
And then Cyclops is just like, get after him. Because they're gonna try and take out the professor. They're gonna try and basically blow up the professor's plane with him on it.
A cool drawing of Nightcrawler turning back into his regular form, and I don't know why Colossus's clothes rip off, because it doesn't seem like when he turns metal he gets bigger. He just gets metal.
I think that's what I think early on they're kind of hinting at that he increases in size and bulk enough when he changes that he's going to destroy his clothes. But I don't think it doesn't stick around with later creators and stuff. But it's an interesting thing early on. It's like he's hulking out.
Yeah. That's a very Cockrum drawing right there, the eyes and everything. I love that one.
Yeah, it's great. And then boom, good tackle panel here with Havoc's energy spheres and the Kirby crackle. And he cuts loose and hits this other plane and just blows it
to shit. And it just crumples like its spine was broken. Yeah.
And so like last issue, we talked about in 96, sort of collateral damage when Cyclops cut loose. Yeah. Well, now this issue, we're going to get collateral damage with Havoc cutting loose.
Yeah.
And before you turn the page, your first thought is like, oh, he just killed a lot of people.
Right.
But we flip and they sort of drop it to us like everybody's shocked at how damaging it was. Even Havoc, while he's brainwashed, is like, whoa, I did that. But they tell us it's empty.
Yeah. And another great Cyclops close-up.
Oh, yeah.
Every time he does that, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's you got to put that in the panels that always work is upshot of Cyclops yelling.
When we get to the end of the Cockrum run, we'll have to do a montage of Cockrum's Cyclops close-ups.
Oh, that would be fantastic. And now here we get the guy. He's following my orders, Cyclops. And it's like, Eric the Red.
Yes. So one of the things with the classic X-Men's that kind of screws it up is, they inserted a new page, and that fucks up the page turn.
Oh yeah, the reveal
for the story.
Yeah.
So when I've been staring at Eric the Red since the page before it, and it's kind of you kind of lose that, which is unfortunate, but. So let's talk about Eric the Red. I got questions.
All right, I'm not sure I got answers, but we'll make up some.
Scott kind of goes into it here like, it can't be Eric the Red. I was Eric the Red. What does that mean? Like, was he in a past story?
Yeah, in X-Men's 51 and 52, he like wears the armor to pretend as like a identity to, I forget what he's doing.
Is it magical or something?
No, it's not magical. It's just so he can pretend to be somebody else to like, I think he's like infiltrating something or pretending to, deal with Magneto or somebody as this other character. So then Magneto won't know that he's Cyclops.
Great idea to cover yourself in metal when you're going to try to bamboozle Magneto. But I was wondering because and he's got like the horns and stuff. So obviously Eric the Red was, a historical Viking figure. And it's weird. Like I don't think we ever it gets explained like why this character. At least, I don't know, maybe it does, is all of a sudden showing up. And Cyclops is as confused as I am at this point.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait to find out why he's after the X-Men and why he wants to kill the professor and everything about his deal. Because we don't really get it in this issue. We don't even get they don't really spell out like what he can do. He just says he's power incarnate, which doesn't really mean anything. But he's sure got a ton of power.
Guess what? Insert page.
Oh man, are they going to tell me?
I thought that there were none, and so before we talked, I before we started recording, I was like, there are no extra pages on here. This is a perfect issue. They didn't need to add anything at all. I'm guessing that there's going to be 2 pages inserted in everything
or something
from now on. So let's take a look at this one. Let's see here. What happens in it? So Havoc goes to, his concentration gets broken a bit here, the thing, because he says, he's concerned for his brother. He says, "Stay back, boy, let him lie. You've more important concerns." And so Havoc blasts him, actually. And he grabs, Eric grabs Havoc by the neck here and says, "I'm your master," and sort of, "Your resistance is admirable, but futile. My hypno beams are irresistible." And so he gets him back here, gets him back under his control here. And then, it's just more of Scott kind of like wondering why this is happening and how he's supposed to like fight his own brother. "Storm's still loose. Maybe she can turn the tide back our way." So that was the added page for this issue.
Yeah, kind of an interesting ad there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that like we've said before, I think maybe with these classic X-Men issues, they had to beef it up a little bit, and so they added extra stories at the end that sometimes add to the lore, sometimes don't, and they probably had to add 2 extra pages to these stories no matter what. So I don't know if that really helped or hindered anything. It was just sort of rhetoric there, and just kind of showed for a second that Havoc was able to break free of the spell when he needed to, I guess.
Yeah. So now we get back. Storm has sort of saved Jean, and we get a good look at the Polaris costume and really get a look at that Steve Ditko kind of design there.
Totally Ditko design.
Yeah. And then she's flying, and she's mentioning that she can fly because of how she can negate gravity like she did to get rid of Krakoa in Giant Size X-Men 1.
Yes.
So a nice little callback there.
Yep.
And she knocks them. Polaris knocks Storm and Jean out of the sky, and Storm just saves her. And I thought this was a great little drawing here with sort of like grabbing like a limp body in midair.
Yeah, you feel the weight on that.
Yeah, it like reads appropriately. Like, oh, that's what's happening.
Yeah, I wonder if he must have found some sort of image there. Back in the day, artists couldn't pull up Google, obviously. So everybody had what they called a morgue file, which is a very strange thing to call it. But, it was just folders and folders and folders of things that they pulled out of magazines and books, pictures, for reference later, that they would have to sort of organize in some way. So I bet there was something of somebody hanging off of a building somewhere that he saw, Yeah. Because you can't just get that weight. I mean, you could and just get that weight in your head, but that's a pretty specific feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we start to get another cool just Storm moment as she sort of changes costumes, or reveals her costume.
This close up of Havoc here.
Face.
It's the inking, I'm sure, but it's again feels Adamsy. I hate to keep going back to that, but like I'd spoken before about how I feel like most artists in this era either had a foot in the Kirby style or in the Adams style, because Adams was coming up as the the hot shit at the time.
Yep.
And so I think that the inking particularly probably turned it this way. But look at the jewel in Havoc's forehead. It feels like an old lady's brooch. It's with the circles around it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's a lot of detail for like a tiny little thing to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little
circles around
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, man, that put in some detail there. And then you get funny. Great circles for his powers.
Yes.
Boom. And so in this issue, so I took a look at some of the letters. And there's one here to mention because it really sounds like it's like a kayfabe letter, like it's fake, just so they could answer the question that they wanted to
I'm
ask.
sure that they did that all the time, right?
Yeah, especially maybe early on here, like they weren't getting a ton of letters yet for X-Men, but it's basically somebody who says that they're an American Indian, and they were happy that another Native American was on the team in Thunderbird, but then he died, and now they're angry about it, and they're asking why'd you have to kill him?
I get that. I got that feeling too. I thought that was a little interesting.
Yeah, and then the person who wrote in is Tom Running Mouth. Okay. And I was like, I mean, I won't say that it's not possible that there's a Native American family that uses Running Mouth as like their surname, but like in this context, it feels very. I was like, ooh, I don't know if that
seems kind of yeah, and more than a little bit racist if it's not.
Yeah, and then they go on to like give this big, like really big answer, and it just seemed like they wanted to answer that themselves, and so they made up a letter to do that. So that was interesting. So yeah, we're back to the story here, and of course Havoc is cutting loose, just wrecking everything, like he always usually does, and he busts this building up, and it falls on Cyclops, and now all of a sudden he snaps him out of his trance, and he's like, "Oh no, I might have killed my brother."
So every time he hurts his brother, he can snap out of it.
Yeah, I guess.
Interesting.
But then Psych is like, take this, little brother, and just like, bam, lays it on him. Good punch panel there.
Yes, great punch panel there. I love the energy of that. I love the way his back leg is kicking and also like bending that way. Yeah. Great lighting on that thing too, you know?
And now we get, Nightcrawler and Colossus trying to take out Eric the Red. We get these good Dutch angles, like back and forth.
Yep.
But like the two of them together they don't have enough power to do it. Whew, the dude is just too tough. And then he throws Colossus, and now Colossus wrecks another airplane.
This poor airport.
Yeah. I mean, collateral damage in this issue.
Charles must be loaded because somebody's got to pay for those planes.
Yeah, and for like a hero, like he's just like not letting him know that he's involved, you know.
Yeah.
But he is a rich guy, so you'd think he'd do the right thing.
Yeah.
And then here's another moment, like Nightcrawler is worried about Colossus because they maybe haven't figured it out yet that he's going to be okay.
This is where it was. I was like, wait a minute, you saw him jump out of a plane and crash into the ground.
Yeah, like, he can survive. Fine. Yeah. And then finally, Colossus chucks this airplane wheel at Eric the Red and really,
I love that.
Yeah, knocks him for a loop. And then we get up in the skies here, just energy going back and forth in this duel between Storm and Polaris, because they're both like on another level above these other guys who just have to duke it out. They're at another power level.
Cool way of showing each other's powers with Polaris's sort of magnetism, effect, and then you got the crackle of the sky with the lightning in it and stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah, and then Polaris calls it a game that they're playing. And the mention of it as a game, that just tips Storm over the edge. She's like, oh, this is a game? You tried to kill us and maybe hurt other people? Like, that's not a game to me. And then we get where she cuts loose, and like, that's great. It's just like, you can barely see her in the energy, in the lightning that she's just drawing up.
Yeah. So Cockrum is a very you know, grid oriented storyteller.
Mhm.
You know, you could see in the Neil Adams ones before where he would throw the panels all over the place and sort of make them crazy. The way that Cockrum starts to show things, you know, get intense is doing those Dutch angles, like the previous page that you had mentioned. And this is where things get just really crazy, where now he's going to break the panel border. And then, yeah, let's see here. And Annette Kowecki is the letterer on this issue. She's also going to break the panel borders with this.
So she does this great
Yeah. She breaks it above with the Zaracum, which, by the way, in my copy is blue, which is an interesting difference. I don't know why they do that. Maybe it just, I don't know. And then yeah, and then she does the Oz down there. So, you know, that's his version of getting really crazy, breaking that panel border with that energy.
Yeah. And here's another Havoc face where it looks way more Neil Adams than it does Cockrum. And I wonder if the inker or maybe even Cockrum himself was pulling out the Neil Adams X-Men issues with Havoc and just using it as reference, just as like, you know, as paying homage to Neil or something, like, hey, this is, you know, your guy that you designed. I want to make it look like your guy.
Could be. I mean, I feel like the inker's got a lot of influence on these lines.
Yeah. Because I mean, it looks like inked like way different than the other stuff. I wonder if it would have been, probably not, but I wonder if it would have been like a bullpen thing where editorial or something for some reason was like, hey, somebody in-house, like, you know, could be Marie Severin or something like that, you know, because I know she would redraw like Steranko faces on covers and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they would ask her to, you know, and she, you know, she wouldn't get credit for it, but like she could draw in other people's styles really well.
Yeah, that's very possible. Stuff like that happened a lot, and you know, it's just, you know, the casual reader wouldn't notice it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And again, the other thing to note is like, man, the Summers brothers, when they are in love, they just fall hard, and anytime their girlfriend gets dinged up or attacked or anything, they just wig out.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
very protective of their ladies.
Yeah. Great hostess ad. Whew. Always good. And then, and so he's back. Havoc's going to like see if Polaris is okay, because she's finally knocked out of the fight. And
they fly in on a Roomba.
Yeah. The ex Roomba here, with Wolverine and Banshee finally showing up.
Yep.
And Eric the Red is finally like, okay, now the tide is turning. Let's get out of here. And they just kind of go with him because they're still brainwashed, and Cyclops has a chance. He could just like take him out right now out of the sky, but he doesn't take it because he doesn't want to, you know, hit his brother and Polaris. And Wolverine, you know, calls him basically a coward for not taking the shot. And then Cyclops, good little angry half Cyclops face here. And he just whack.
This last panel here, or the last time we see Wolverine here, his whatever you want to call them, ears are starting to curve.
They got a little interesting shape going on. I also like this moment too, because it's like Wolverine's about to go nuts, which we've seen, you know, last issue he went nuts and almost, you know, attacked Nightcrawler. And then in this last one, he's going to go nuts, and Storm, all it takes is just one hand from her on his shoulder, and basically like, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And like just that calmed him down. Just like boom.
Yep.
Like she's got enough gravitas or whatever already in the team that she can step in and just be like, no, Wolverine. And he's like, okay. And it's like, okay, so then we end this battle, and now we get our little cliffhanger, which is like a picture in a picture.
In a picture.
Going on here. Yeah, which is crazy. So like you take out this and it's like, okay, this is the guy from last issue who blew up the airplane so he could start his Project Armageddon.
Right.
Like you see the same suit and you're like, okay. And then all of a sudden, but then he's getting watched by somebody with this weird glove.
Yeah, like a spidery looking glove almost.
Yeah, it's I don't know that I like that setup because it can almost be a little confusing. But
okay.
It's interesting.
And it is I was very confused by this. I mean, I kind of got what was going on. It almost looks like he's puppeting this guy.
Yeah, it's like the same position of the arm there.
Uh-huh. And then there's, if you notice, like above the spidery or the whatever buggy looking thing, there's another arm there too. You see that?
Yeah, that's got to be. Oh, I know what that is.
Okay.
Oh.
And then, you know, this guy's last name is Lang, right?
Yeah.
So is this like Ant-Man stuff happening? I'm just trying to
no,
figure out what it is.
Yeah, Stephen Lang, and they tell us at the bottom here. Next issue, the Sentinels return.
Right. Enough
said.
Bub.
So Sentinels, that's last issue where Lang name drops Bolivar Trask. That's the guy that made the Sentinels, the original Sentinels. Yes. So now we haven't seen him, but like right here, this has to be like a Sentinel leg.
Ah, is that what that is?
Yeah, that's got to be what that is in Lang's room here.
Yeah,
next to him.
So yours,
mine is it's actual Sentinel color. Yeah. In yours, it's blue in the reprint. So then it's like it just fades away and looks like a curtain or something.
It does. Interesting choice they made there.
Yeah.
Huh. And that's it for issue 97.
Yeah. So 98, they're promising us Sentinels.
Sweet. The classic X-Men backup for this one is a Colossus story. We get to see a little bit of him chilling out at the beach. These two little guys playing chess, and he's drawing them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's an artist. And he hears somebody scream, and they're trying to pull these guys are trying to pull this girl into a car. He's not having it, so he jumps down, turns into metal Colossus, punches through the roof, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's a great sequence where he's on the car right there, and the bullets bouncing off him. It's very like Terminator.
Yes, very Terminator.
Yeah,
exactly. I love this sequence, this 3-panel sequence here of the car too, because you feel the car moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you feel the movement of that. The inking here just feels like Liefeldy, which is interesting.
Oh yeah,
things to come. So he, you know, busts this car up. The guys take off. He opens it up, and there's this girl back there. You know, she initially thinks that he changes back before she wakes up. She initially thinks that he's one of the kidnappers, but he assures her that he's just saved her. Everybody's cheering about it. You know, he goes back to these old men, and they're like, here's your backpack and stuff like that. You know, you're very talented. I love the drawing that you did, you know. And so he, you know, introduces himself to this woman. She never comes up again, right? This is just a moment.
No, yeah, it's just a moment. Yeah.
Okay.
And she's another Russian. So they have that.
She's another Russian. Turns out that she is a ballerina. who was, you know, in Russia. She was only allowed to do certain things, and she wanted to be a free dancer, so she came to America. But her father, you know, wants her back in Russia, and even though she loves her father, she wants to be free because, you know, Soviet Russia, Soviet USSR is what's going on at this point in history when this book is coming out. 1987. So the Soviet Union will come down in a year, I believe. So we're still in the USSR. Okay. So they start, you know, hanging out, and he goes to see her performance. This is good. This is a big day for her. This is going to be, you know, her big debut in New York, and, you know, bravo. She does a great job. She comes out to meet him and gives her a drawing. She gives him one of the roses and say, "This is very sudden. Things are happening so fast. Perhaps too fast? I know. I don't care." And they pull back to this big moment in the alley. Oh my gosh. The big moment. And she just really loves him, and he just really loves her, you know, so much that, you know, what's coming up is these guys show back up to, you know, take her back, and he turns into the metal version of himself, takes these guys out, and she shows her true colors. What are you? A man, a monster, a mutant. Like you, I was born with talent, a special talent. Yours is to dance, mine is to change my body, as you have seen. It's horrible. Why? How am I different? You know, it's funny because his talent is also that he's an artist. Hello.
Yeah, that's his. Yeah, he had to,
you know,
learn and practice to be an artist.
Yeah, I don't say that like the fact that my ears don't have a curve on them isn't, you know,
a talent.
Isn't a talent. And she can't be with it. A man made of steel has no heart. So she, you know, must have really loved him. And he's crushed. He's crushed. You know, you see the time passing, and he's just staring out into the ocean or whatever he's doing, and rips this page up. And, yeah, but you know, I love how it's silent as he goes through all this, and he rips it up. And this is the best part: is he does his words at the end is just "You are wrong." So he knows. Yeah. He knows. You know, she's wrong. He has a heart. He's a big teddy bear made out of metal. And the Bolton.
Yeah, great Colossus drawing on the back cover too.
Yeah, really cool. Super simple.
Yeah.
This cover, this Art Adams cover, is wild, man. I would never have thought of doing a composition like this where it's kind of coming at you, you know, like this, boom, 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 and then just the drawing of these circles, so powerful.
Yeah, I like how he did some red ones in the background, you know, to kind of like get him to drop in the back.
Yeah, I don't know who colored this, but again, it's P. Craig Russell inking it. Beautiful, beautiful work. And then here's his drawing of Polaris and Eric the Red and Havoc. 1986, Art Adams, PCR. Awesome. All right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, issue 97, man. First full 100% Claremont plot and writing. And just like issue 96, it was a good one.
It was a banger. Yeah. So everybody go grab your copy of issue 98, however you want to do it. Find it and read it. And we'll come back and discuss in the next episode. And at the end, I'll have a time lapse of the drawing on the I gotta get the name of it. What's it called? You know?
You're talking like the title card?
Yeah, like the title card. Is it called a title card?
It is now.
It is now. There's got to be a real name for it. I'll figure it out. I'm an old man. I'll do a time-lapse drawing at the end of this, and you can always buy that on my website, chrisandersoncomics.com. John, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at jdcoates, and my comics can be found at dinobeast.com.
Rock and roll. Almost everything of mine is Chris Anderson Comics, so if you need to find me, that's where it is, but everything will also be in the show notes. All right, until next time, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that, and John, have a great night.
You as well, sir.
All right, see you next week. Join my Patreon to see my work before anyone else, plus score physical sketchbooks, mini comics, and commissions delivered right to your door, and reading my new books, Something Seems Off and Three-Headed Pigman, as they are made. Go to my website to order original art, commissions, and my books, Lost Angels, Spectral: A Showcase of Fear, Chaotic Neutral, and more. Gray Matter Drip, The Art of Chris Anderson, is available now from Cosmic Lion Productions. Here are the upcoming conventions I'll be at the time of this recording. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. It helps spread the word. Thanks.